we are, because we
Yeah.
were raised by the greatest generation of all time.
Right,
So
right.
anyway, long story short, mom was working up the street. My biological mother was working up the street at the Roosevelt Hotel, and she was a server. And and one thing led to another, and she got to a point where she couldn't feed all six of us, and
Mhm.
so she literally went to her oldest sister, Pat, and said, "Hey, Pat, I can't feed David. Would you and Bob adopt him?" And they
Mhm.
did. So Bob, again, he's career military, highly decorated, World War II, career officer, National Guard Army. So, we had a nice house. We always had things. I never needed anything. There was always food on the table. There was never anything other than, a nice house and all that.
Mhm.
So shortly after they told me this, right, that on that first day of summer in 64, that they weren't my parents, both of them started drinking. And that's when shit hit the fan, literally, because these two amazing people turned into two people that you just don't recognize them anymore.
Right.
Pat, my mom, if you will, she was kind of a fun drunk, a happy drunk. She'd pass out at the kitchen table. She wasn't violent or mean. She would just pass out.
Right.
And then Bob, ooh, not so much.
Right.
I think he was dealing with a lot of PTSD from the war and all that. And so he had issues. And when he drank alcohol, the meanness, the nastiness would come out. So you had to be really, really careful because he would become very, very volatile.
Right.
And so shortly after they told me this, they both went to the grocery store one day. Well, I don't know what alcohol is. I have no references other than all of a sudden it's showing up in my life and they're drinking it. And I see these two wonderful people
Right.
turned into people that weren't so wonderful anymore.
Mhm.
And so they went to the grocery store one day and I knew where the booze was. They were hiding it right over there in plain sight.
Yeah.
So I went over there. Now I understand this is 1964, man. I'm a young kid.
Yeah.
And so I went over there and I grabbed it and I took a coffee cup and I poured it in and I drank it about half full. And it was brandy. And you know what? As one, I never had a chance, man. I totally believe 100% that I was an alcoholic right on the spot because I started acting out alcoholically from the very beginning.
Mhm.
And so it escalated. It just got worse and worse and worse.
Mhm.
And by the time I was a junior in high school, they called me into the principal's office one day and said, "Alvin, out. You're done. You're dangerous to the school. You're a danger to yourself and others. We can't have you in the school." So they kicked me out.
Takes you out of this.
And do what?
Takes you out of the school.
Yeah. So I got expelled from high school is what
I got
happened.
before you go for
Right.
it. I teach now,